No droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no Ray Palpatines, no Adam Driver fans. We do this for the love of Star Wars. And the people who like that garbage aren't Star Wars fans. And we all know that. Today, like I said in the description, I had to get up, kind of flew out of bed without realizing what was going to happen today. A farrier showed up to do the horses at the barn, and my mare was in line to get her feet trimmed. And if you know anything about Kay and Hey Dave and the Kay foot saga, and it is a saga, she's got really bad feet. Now, know anything about horses, you know that they have to have their feet taken care of. They're not in the wild. The feet are very, very hard and they break naturally. They keep them trimmed naturally. However, horses that are domesticated, depending on the breed, can either have really good feet or really bad feet. Kay is on the really bad feet. She doesn't hardly have any hoof wall. They're flat. And it took me a while to get her to go barefoot because the sole of the foot and the frog, which is like the frog of the horse's foot, is like an organ, and it's where all the blood and all the oxygen and everything and nutrients go out to the rest of the foot. You got to keep all that clean and off the ground. So it took me a while to get her feet toughened up to be able to go barefoot, but she couldn't keep shoes on. I mean, they would just fall off. Now, the problem I have with her is that I can't ride her outside the arena. She's definitely not a trail horse. Her feet just wouldn't be able to deal with the rough ground. So you've got that. And it's not like I ride her much anymore. Anyway, she's a pasture ornament. She's very, she looks really good for 21, I have to admit. She's starting to get up there, but, I mean, she's just a decoration. I wish I could ride her. I like a horse I could ride. Be nice, but hey, there you go. So I was up and gone by maybe 7. Ha ha ha. Very funny, Dave. So I was up by 7 o'clock and out the door. Okay. So after that was over, I got breakfast at Target, and I got 2 cups of coffee. They have a Starbucks there, so I did that. And yesterday, while I was wandering around, I discovered that Ghostbusters Halloween costumes are coming out, and the 2 that I saw were Spangler, little kid, big kid. They also have ghost traps, a PKE meter, the little goggles that Egon wore, or not Egon, but Ray wears, and the proton pack is a blow up thing, which is, I'm sure you can figure out how to make one that would actually look right. Get a 3D printer and do it. But also yesterday I discovered they had, so I got them today, number 2. And so if they're out, or order them wherever you can, it's really funny. I'm really happy that these are coming out. And I have a theory. First off, yes, this is the Essential Legends collection. All right. And I have a theory. I think, based on what we know, is that we are going to get a type of heir to the Empire in the shows. Oh, goody, we're actually getting, they're subpoenaing to audit the vote here in Pennsylvania. Cool. Oh, no, we're not going to. I'm not, why would I do that? I don't even have a PS. I don't have any game player anymore. We're going to get heir to the Empire in some flavor. And because there was a rumor about this a long time ago, that Jon Favreau really wanted to do the Darth Bane trilogy, This is why we're getting these. Do your Capuchin. Timothy's on. All right. Let's see what the dog is doing. Okay. Oh, he's laying. Oh, he's a good boy. He's laying right behind me. That's good. So my theory is where the reason why these were reprinted is that we're getting them in some form or another. Either I think we're probably, I wouldn't doubt we'd see a feature film about Darth Bane. I think we're going to get some sort of heir to the Empire, and then the last part of the Mandoverse is going to be the crescendo, the climax from Last Command. Okay, this is a good thing. And I'm going to say this. Thrawn might be the Thanos, but I have a feeling that he is going, that there are different vying factions within that Imperial thing going on. And I have a feeling that Moff Gideon is going to run afoul of him if Gideon gets away from the Rebel Alliance. And my thing is, I think that it's not necessarily going to be Luke Skywalker to end the the Exegol thing. It might be Thrawn to do it, because we already have things not going along with the sequel trilogy. Grogu going with Luke, which replaces the ugly asshole, the foundling. I mean, let's put it this way. I find it hard to believe Han and Leia, these two gorgeous people, would ever have something that ugly. I mean, what the fuck did that come from? And Ahsoka being alive. Okay. It just, you know, I find that hard to believe. Mule Boy, yeah, Mule Boy, Bat Boy. He looks like a cross between a bat, a rat, a largemouth bass, a crow, and a mule. I mean, he really does. I mean, I can't, ick. I had a troll come on here bitching at me for disrespecting Adam Driver. So, what can I do about it? I don't think he's very cool. I'm sorry. Sue me. All right. So anyway, what else is going on? Really not, I mean, inside the magic, I mean, the Disney blog, there, Rebecca Barton, who does the Star Wars thing, was going on and on about how, okay, Mark Owens, hi. About how, oh, the prequel trilogy, Batu, or the sequel trilogy, Batu, and all that. And then she goes into, they're actually using the original trilogy in some different forms. It's like, you know, here's what's going to happen with Batu. It's going to be reskinned for the Mandoverse. You're going to see Rey, the bestest ever, and Kylo Ren, the Bat Boy, disappear. Costumes can change. Cast members can go to other places. Okay, so you will probably have 3PO and R2-D2 running around. You'll probably have Luke running around. Han running around. You'll see Hondo get replaced. I'd like to see that. I'll get to that one, Dave. Just a minute. Kojak. Okay, there you are. I'd like to see the rectangular sensor dish on the Falcon disappear and the round one be put back. But that area of the park can turn into Tatooine like that. And it should, okay? We'll have Vader in that side of the park, okay? We will have him there. We will have all kind, Chewbacca and all that stuff eventually. Okay, they can't just do it overnight. My advice to the sequel trilogy fans, all five of them, if you actually bought the merchandise, went to the movies over and over again, gave Bob Chapek a reason to want to fund more, you might actually get to see more. It's very interesting, this Rebecca Barton. She's going on and on about Poe Dameron and all this stuff. I don't have time to go through it, but she's acting like all this is new. Here's the deal. If you see something that's coming out in the next year that has anything to do with the sequel trilogy, that project started 3 or 4 years ago. Okay? All right. So don't get upset. Don't. It's like when the EU, oh yeah, I thought they were too, but the EU, Mando came in and wiped that off the map. I mean, the EU did print books out there. There were a lot of them, including one of my favorites, Honor Among Thieves. You guys got to read that book if you haven't. There are a bunch of great new characters there, including one named Scarlet Hark, who's a spy for the Alliance that Han ends up having to team up with. He's sent on a mission with her. And it's a good book. It could be a great series. You've got a strong female character, but, not an overpowered Mary Sue. Okay, and Leia is Princess Leia. She is the princess. She's not overpowered. She's not anything but the person that we all cheered for. Okay, so these projects that you see coming out, it doesn't matter. Got to look at what's going on, read between the lines. You've got the story group not doing anything right now, as far as I can tell. In fact, Pablo said, "Oh, we don't have any projects on the table." That's because you're not there anymore, probably. And he is the biggest indication, because when you look at his Twitter account, he's standing there with his nose pressed against the glass, looking inside, begging to come back in. Oh yeah, and yeah, I gotta say, you guys are a great chat, and I really appreciate the subscribers. I know I don't mention it enough. I I'm not one of those people that thinks about that stuff all the time. And it's not because I'm impolite. It's just that I'm going like this, and it is important to acknowledge you guys, and I want to thank you all. Baz Taylor and I are really working on a great Luke Skywalker thing. I'm also gonna probably upload a video because I have a theory about Kathleen Kennedy, and I think I'm right on it, about why it's taken so long to get Indy 5 filming. And it's all based on her reaction to when Carrie passed away. There's a video of her being asked about it, and it was like, she didn't hardly acknowledge Carrie Fisher at all when she passed. I mean, it was really, she was so unfeeling, so cold, and so callous. So if I can find that video, I'm going to use it in an upload. It says a lot, but I'll tell you about the theory I've got. I'll make a video of it. Anyway, so yeah, we are saying Star Wars. Look, like I said, I feel really different this time around. And if Dan Watanabe and Lee Scott are watching, Well, I know I saw that, and that's, and I'm gonna laugh at you if you honestly think the rumor's true. I mean, fucking A. Okay, now I'm gonna get mad. I can sit there and say, this is a rumor, blah, blah, blah. I get shit on by the usual suspects because they think I'm saying, Doomcock 2, that we're both saying that it's actual news when we fucking couched it as a rumor. But you can have this goddamn rumor about Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It's called a rumor. It was a fucking rumor in the New York Post, and they all go, oh my God, it's true. It's true. It just said it was a rumor. Okay, so I can call it a rumor, but I'm the bad guy. But the news article said it was a rumor. What the fuck? First off, it's not true. They've already, I mean, they're halfway done filming the movie. Okay? None of it is true. Okay? Listen to me for once. That story was put in there for a fucking reason. Okay? It didn't have anything to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It didn't have anything to do if the rumor was true or not. It was designed to hurt the production, and it was designed to zing Kennedy. I've talked about this before. Now, there are three possibilities. It could just be it was in the Guardian or the Mirror or whatever, and they got the story and put it in the New York Post just to titillate people and piss people off. Rupert Murdoch, I could see him doing that. You know, I mean, he could have been the one, oh, we should do this, because he does lean right, and, you know, why not? More than likely, in my opinion, there is a cabal trying to cut Kennedy down to size. And the cabal consists of George Lucas, don't ever fuck with him, Steven Spielberg, and Harrison Ford. Okay. I talked about my theory about Lucas and Kennedy. And I'm right. I'm right. I know I'm right. Here's the reason why. Go and look to see who did not show up to the Rise of Skywalker premiere. George Lucas. Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere. And there she is, stoned off her ass with her twin sister and her triplet, Lin-Wen Brennan. It's like three witches. No, I mean, they're like clones of each other. It's gross. He wasn't there. 2 months later, Steven Spielberg walks away. Yeah, it is. It's a coven. If you honestly think that that had anything to do with anything other than George Lucas getting screwed over trying to save The Rise of Skywalker, you're an idiot. You really are. The biggest indication is Lucas did not show up to The Rise of Skywalker premiere for some reason. Go back to last summer. Go back to the summer before when The Rise of Skywalker was being filmed. Lucas, apparently, we were told, actually was helping film it, and he wrote some of it. They bring the assembly cut to the suits. Kennedy shits her pants. All right. Forces, they said 40% reshoots. I'd say 50 or 60. Okay. It's shooting reshoots from midsummer all the way to November before the movie came out. The movie is choppy. It doesn't make sense. You can see where the editing was just shit, which is an indication that, you know, Star Wars is always really well edited. Not this one. Well, The Rise of Skywalker wasn't well edited. Or The Force Awakens wasn't well edited. And neither was, you know, TLJ, okay? And I mean, none of them were, compared to the original trilogy and even the sequel trilogy, okay? And I don't care if you don't like the prequels, you know, I mean, compared to the prequel trilogy, the sequels are just dumpster fire. She basically took all of George Lucas's ideas and set fire to them. The reason why I know this is true is because Matt Smith was playing a pivotal role. He was playing the villain. They had the son of Mortis's set built, his throne and everything. And they had to tear it all down and redo it again. Okay? And here's the deal. When they brought back Ian McDiarmid, he was... The son of Mortis is a shapeshifter. He can be anything. He can be anybody. If you watch the Mortis arc, you'll see that. He's Shmi Skywalker. He's a little blue guy that bites Ahsoka. He's Ahsoka as an older, her adult version. So he's a shapeshifter. So the mule face, I don't know, but they probably did, because I know weirdly he did show up at the premiere, which was probably a fuck you to Kennedy. But she's too so self-absorbed and unaware of anything going on around her that she wouldn't have noticed. If you remember that trailer where you see Muleface and you hear that voice, my boy, Ian McDiarmid, goes into Snoke, goes into Vader. 3 different voices. And I had a sound guy do the sound, and he said there are 2 different voices throughout the whole thing. There's one voice that stays the same, and then the other one's changing from one actor to the other. From Ian McDiarmid, to Andy Serkis, to James Earl Jones. That was probably Matt Smith. Okay, he was playing the son of Mortis. Okay, and it was very obvious to me that that was where it was headed, that in 2019. And then they pulled this shit. Okay, I find it really disgusting that these people, that J.J. Abrams doesn't have the balls enough to stand up against a rabbit, let alone Kennedy in the suits, and let this happen. All the money they wasted, I bet you $1,000. They spent $400 million making that movie, and then add the marketing to it. They didn't make any money on it. But Lucas doesn't show up to the Rise of Skywalker because of all that shit. Spielberg walks away. And now you've got all this shit going on. Yeah, and then they do give an explanation, and it's like bullshit. Anyway, let's go on to my theory about Kennedy. So, if you all remember, if you didn't see the video, I'm going to try to find it and have Baz grab it for me. Kathleen Kennedy, basically, when Carrie Fisher died, just was like, man, who cares? And that was her opinion. You could see it in the interview. That really pissed me off when I saw that. I was so disgusted with her. Like Carrie was garbage, or just a tool that you could, plug into something, and, well, the fuse died, we'll just throw it away and get it. I mean, that was what I got from that interview. Indiana Jones should have been filmed 5 years ago. This movie should have been done in the can. We should not be here talking about it. They waited and they waited and they waited and they waited and they waited till now. Now, why? You can put it off because, hey, Mexican Iron Man, don't get yourself in trouble driving, dude. Be careful. Would it? All right. And, we have explanations. Scripts weren't right. La, 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 blase, blase, whatever. And the excuses piled up. Because of the way Kennedy behaved after Carrie Fisher passed away, God bless her soul, would it be out of the realm of possibility that Kathleen Kennedy saw Harrison Ford, he's 79 now, and she thought, if I can wait till he passes, I can have a female Indiana Jones? Would that be out of the realm of possibility? I don't think so. Again, there are people in Hollywood, Kathleen Kennedy is one of them, who I do believe, strongly I might add, actually really think that they are eternal. And I honestly think that they look at, if you look at Kathleen Kennedy, she surrounds herself with much younger women. Ugh, ugh, gross. Which makes me think all kinds of things. Would it really shock you that she's a worshiper of youth, that she's a feminazi, that she saw a way of taking this franchise in a feminist direction and wanted to wait till Ford either was gone or couldn't do it anymore? See, I think she thinks that way. I think there are people in Hollywood because, look, when I was fighting with Pablo Hidalgo on Twitter, and he kept talking about it's for the kids, la la la, Star Wars, I suddenly realized these people actually don't give a shit about people their own age or older. They're worshipers of youth. That's it. Now, if you look at Pablo, it's like, man, you better start sucking down the HGH because time has not been kind to you, my friend. And you better stop eating whatever you're eating because, that's not going to be kind. That hasn't been kind to you either. This is really a theory that came to me last night. They're like I said, Kennedy worships youth. She is almost 70 years old, but she obviously does Botox. She's obviously a vegan. She's obviously a person who dedicates herself to looking as absolutely as young as she possibly can, which is fine, but she doesn't acknowledge age. Oh yes, he does. He does. He should. He should. He really. I look at him and I go, why don't you eat a salad? I think I said that to him once. A salad, you should try it. But this is a thing I've thought of. And because Hollywood is such a shitty, callous place, and we know that when women get into their 40s, the roles start to peter out. For guys, it's a little easier to find roles. But still, I can see her doing that. I can see her doing that. Maybe, in some quasi weird way, she is getting back at all right. Well, Dune, when Andre saw Dune, he was I can't wait to see it now because of what he said about it. Okay. It looks like the reshoots and everything they did for Bond actually were out there to repair it from what the bullshit. Okay. Indy 5, just because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in it, and if Lee Scott's watching, it is a rumor. That does not make it true. Quit it. I get like just, but if I say it's a rumor, somehow I'm saying it's news and it's true. I'm the one that gets shit on. Okay, I don't, or, Doomcock is. All right, somehow it's okay to report rumors as truth if you're certain people. I don't get that either. I don't. And that really pisses me off. It's okay to go on Twitter and troll a major director and then pretend you're the victim. Okay? Look, if you're waving that flag in this environment and you are part of the problem, might give a damn broke. Okay, might give a damn. I'm mean mommy right now. Leave it alone. All right, leave the guy alone. Why can't we wait till at least we have a trailer out for all these? All right. Now, Dune is already out in Europe. People like it. Okay? And it's not a woke fest. So please, to you people who think it is, bite me. Okay? Bite me hard. Okay? To the people who think James Bond is a woke fest, it could be. But the last trailer and the reshoots don't make it look like it is anymore. So we're just going to have to see. All right? If the critics hate it, that's fine. If the critics hate it, then we know it's not a woke fest. About Indy 5. I think I have a handle on Harrison Ford enough to know that if they were trying to fuck him over, he would walk away. And it would be out there, people would know. He would not be quiet about it. And I'll tell you something else. To the people who think Kathleen Kennedy's the most powerful woman in Hollywood, the Empress has no clothes. Okay? Hollywood knows that she fucked up Star Wars. The Atlantic article proves it. Okay? They know that she's on her way out. She on her own has been an abject failure. Okay? The mythology that she herself has fostered as being this powerful glass ceiling breaking woman, is bullshit. Okay? I have found plenty of women from over 100 years ago now that were there when the film industry started that owned their own studios, that were directors. I mean, Alice Guy Berchet or Bercham or whatever her last name was, her husband's last name, was, I think, the very first director of movies. She gets married to a Brit. They come to the United States, open up a studio together in Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is where Hollywood first started. Okay, in New Jersey and New York. Okay. Kathleen Kennedy has done nothing to make herself. No, he wouldn't, Dave. And that's another thing. Here's the deal. People don't respect him. They don't realize that he hasn't had to audition since 1980 for anything. That he is one of the most important, powerful voices in Hollywood. And when I say that, that's like above Kennedy. He has produced movies. Mark Hamill has always said he should have been a director too. He probably would have been a good one. He very much is in the very top echelon, and if he doesn't like something, fuck this shit, I'm not gonna do it. He's, George Lucas loves him, but they have this love-hate relationship because Harrison, if something isn't feeling right, he'll change it. And it's really funny. He's right way more times than he's wrong. The I love you, I know thing. Lucas hated it, but it worked. Okay, that's Harrison Ford. And I'll tell you, they did this script for Indy 5 over and over and over again. I have the article. I wish I could find it. I wish I could find the part where the delivery guy shows up with the Indy 5 script so he could read it. He has input in this. The idea that he'd be all for Phoebe Waller-Bridge showing up and taking the hat and the whip is bullshit. Okay? Think! And stop disrespecting him. Don't sit there saying that you're not. What is this fear of Kathleen Kennedy? What is this? She doesn't have the power she used to have. 2015, 2016, 2017 were the apex of it. And it started going like this in 2018. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She was supposed to be in Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon with Donald Glover. She left it. All right. Everything, I'll bet you $1,000, everything she did for Bond has been redone. Okay? All right? You guys, again, are not thinking, you're feeling. And again, disrespecting Harrison Ford because you're all afraid of Kathleen Kennedy is utterly silly. The man could squash her like a grape. I have a theory about her too, by the way, and him. Back in 1980, when they were filming Raiders, and it was her first production assignment. I mean, and I'm going to say this right out loud in public. I'll bet you $1,000 she hit on him. Okay? That's not another realm of possibility. Because she was climbing the ladder, and he was the next big thing. Okay? Now, at the time, he was just starting to get in a serious relationship with Melissa Matheson. And this is after The Empire Strikes Back was filmed, and him and Carrie, I believe that relationship carried on into The Empire Strikes Back. Okay? I do. And I don't know what happened, but if you want to talk about powerful women in Hollywood, Carrie Fisher was that woman. Okay? There are women on this planet that have a power over men. And they can look like Farrah Fawcett, they can look like Carol Lombard, they can look like Marilyn Monroe or Deanna Dors or, Megan Fox or whatever. Or they can look like Carrie Fisher. And Carrie was beautiful. She was. And for some reason, they are the ones, for whatever reason, the ones in charge of the relationship. And they are the one, my dad always said, you girls choose the guys. Okay? And to me, I think, because I suspect that she did not want to get serious with anybody. Or if she did, it wasn't that kind of normal relationship. And, she had her problems. But she had this thing over these guys. Harrison Ford, Dan Aykroyd, Paul Simon, and there were others. I'm not going to say Brian Lord because Brian Lord ends up being gay, and he's Billy Lord's dad, But still, so I think there was stuff going on between them. And Harrison met Melissa in 78 when he was in Saskatchewan. So, yeah, I agree with you, Planet Musk. Um, I really, I look at that and there was a kind of a triangle going on. And Carrie was like indecisive, to be blunt. She was also really young, okay? And we all know that she had problems with depression. And Melissa was like this person who was, she's a great talented writer, brilliant woman, you know, a normal person. Okay, there's something to be said for stability. Okay, and he was in a relationship with Melissa when they were filming Raiders, and there was Kathleen Kennedy. You had her husband, soon to be husband, Frank Marshall, on the set, but who knows when Kennedy actually met Ford. I mean, she could have met him long before because she ended up in Hollywood. When did Close Encounters come in? Come in 78 or so, 77, 78. So she was already in Hollywood. She had worked for John Milius, and that was a group that all hung out together. Yeah, if you went to one of George Lucas's Halloween parties, Milius would probably be there. Coppola, Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, Harrison Ford, bartending, because that's what he liked to do, and stuff. And there you go. I mean, that was a group of people, and I could see her trying to put the moves on him and him saying no, and her having a grudge for the rest of her life. Oh yeah, okay, thanks, Dave. So I was right about that, 77. And her having a grudge for the rest of her life. Okay? She, when I follow Amblin Entertainment on Insta. And when fanboys go on there and start trashing Kennedy, I understand why. There's a time and a place. Amblin, I think that she is one of the people that actually runs it. She still has part ownership of it. So you gotta pick and choose where you're gonna fight that battle, and that is not the place. Steven Spielberg has nothing to do with our fight with her. Okay? So pick and choose where you're gonna go after Miss Cavi. Okay? But no, I think that she has it out for Ford. I think she has it out for him for several reasons. A, heartthrob for decades and still is in a way. B, probably said to her no. I don't see him liking women that are that overtly aggressive. And I don't see Kathy Kennedy being able to flirt. Carrie Fisher was a huge flirt. She really was. But she was so... When you watch her behind the scenes, you can see that she was very coquettish and very sweet about it. And very wild. Okay. Kathleen Kennedy, I can't imagine her flirting. It'd be like watching a stone trying to flirt. I mean, just... There's nothing there. There's no personality. But snakes don't have personality, okay? So I don't, and maybe he didn't even realize she was hitting on him. And, it's like, but I think she's had it out for him. I think she's had it out for George Lucas. I think the moment she got to be president of Lucasfilm, she was like, I can get back at all these guys that held me down or ignored me. Again, she's not aware of herself and she doesn't appreciate what she has. Okay? That's the thing. That is what we've got going here. All right? But I do believe that she wanted to wait until Harry was gone or could not do it anymore so she could actually give the Indiana Jones to a woman and reboot it as a female driven, you know, movie franchise. And, you know, I mean, she's basically tried to turn Star Wars into that she was the one that invented it. I mean, when you hear some of the things people have said, you know, that she's trying to cut out everything that George did, she tried to. I mean, again, when she talks about George, we know how phony she is, and she is. Okay, so that should not surprise any of us. What shouldn't surprise us is that there is a cabal against her, and it's probably on the set of Indy 5. I guarantee you we'll hear all kinds of stuff come off of that set. In fact, Lorena Creel said something, and I'd like to ask her personally if I could ever get her email address. I swear to God, she said that Harrison Ford, she heard a story that Harrison Ford had basically walked away from the set because there was shit going down, and he was pissed. Now he got hurt, but after a week, he's not wearing the sling. You see pictures of him and he's carrying pizzas. Again, you have to hurt your shoulder bad enough to where you can't lift your arm above your head, you know, to understand how bad a shoulder injury can be. And I only bruised mine badly. Thank you, getting thrown off that mare decades ago now, but I couldn't, no. A, I couldn't lift my arm above my head. B, they wouldn't let me ride. Harrison Ford's riding around London on his bicycle. Anyway, all right. So Larry Kasdan apparently is doing a 6-part documentary about George Lucas. Now, everybody who knows me knows that I don't like him very much. Well, the thing about, I think you're right, Planet Musk. But what you should have done was respect those characters, respect the stories, and done a soft handoff. When you have JJ bitching like a little bitch that he is about how every time, Mark Hamill showed up on screen or Harrison Ford, suddenly no one wants to see the new characters. Paulo Hidalgo, I quote verbatim, I liked TFA until a certain character came out. When he was asked who it was, he said Han. And it's like, well, fuck you, asshole, my opinion. If you're a Star Wars fan and didn't like seeing Harrison Ford in Star Wars, in TFA, and Carrie, and Luke, Mark, then you're not a Star Wars fan. Go fuck yourself. Okay? Go. So, Larry Kasdan is doing this documentary. Y'all know how I feel about him. He came in way late after Lee Brackett died and took over writing The Empire Strikes Back. Greatest, in my opinion, greatest movie ever made. Perfect script. Perfectly directed. Perfectly acted. Perfectly filmed. Everything. He goes and writes Raiders of the Lost Ark, another perfectly acted, perfectly directed, perfectly filmed, perfectly written script. You gotta remember what's going on here, okay? This isn't Larry Kasdan working all on his own. Who's standing above him? George Lucas here, Steven Spielberg there. George Lucas here, Irvin Kershner, and Harrison Ford. All right, depending on which movie you're talking about. So he had to do what they told him to. Okay. He has a problem with happy endings. He wanted to kill off Han, and then his excuse is, well, Harrison wanted to. And there's a lot of misconceptions about how Harrison feels about Han Solo. You know, if you wanted to make the Empire or Return of the Jedi a better movie, you have Lando go back to Free Cloud City and Han lead the attack on the Death Star. Okay, that way he's got something to do. Leia's on the ground on Endor, and then you got Luke, and you do whatever you have to with the Ewoks and Luke meeting Vader and whatever. But that's why you fix that. Okay, that's all that needed to happen. But they didn't do it that way, and whatever. Lando to me served his purpose when he went out of his way to help save Han. But he never should have gone a step further and joined the Alliance. I mean, when Leia says, I wonder who they got to lead that attack on the Death Star, and I could see Solo looking around going, and her going, because you gotta understand, she just got him back. That would have been a bone of contention between them. That would have been great drama. They should have gone that way. Just a minute. Kojak? What are you doing? Come here. Come here he comes. All right, no. No, you don't do that, no. Koj. No, I dropped that. Get out of there. I gotta watch him all the time. It's like having a demented 4-year-old in the house. But they could have fixed that, and that's the only thing I would have done. Is I'd rewrite the story. No, I hope not. He was attempting to go out there, and he's wearing his collar. And I got him yesterday really good, so hopefully he'll think twice. But anyway, that's what I would do to fix that story. But Kasdan, once he got into TFA, he, screwed the pooch. He did not deliver. And then Solo was a joke. He let his stupid son take the lead instead of saying, no, we can't do that. And of course, the script sucked. The lead sucked. The rest of the cast sucked. I don't care if you like Emilia Clarke. She's a little rat. She's a skinny, scrawny, pasty-faced little rat. And it was just stupid. And it's not because it came out right after TLJ. It's because it's stupid, okay? And that was where Kennedy's downfall commenced. And Larry Kasdan, regardless if he wants the fame or not, is part of the reason why Kennedy's downfall is happening. And this documentary, or these 6, first off, I hope that he's actually talking to George. I hope that he actually respects the man, and I think he will. Let's put it this way. Cameron talked about a lot about the Writers Guild and all the bullshit that went down like 2 years ago, a year ago, where basically a lot of the writers had to fire their agents, and they had to take a vote on it. There was a petition against it. Larry Kasdan's name was on a no vote petition. His idiot son was on the yes vote. So Kasdan he's kind of a paradox to me. But he's also a has-been, as far as I'm concerned. He doesn't really offer, I think, Indiana Jones any Raider in any of these movies anymore. Anything. His time really has passed, and it's too bad. I mean, I would think that a director or a writer would be able to keep going, and the well runs dry. Now, Steven Spielberg has been, I mean, there are people out there that think that well ran dry. When I look at the scripts being offered, when I look at the people writing, there's not a lot out there. There really isn't. I mean, and there aren't a whole lot of really good books being written anymore. There's a case for the Mitch Rapp franchise to actually be a thing, but they probably make her into Michelle Rapp instead of Mitch. There's a case to be made for a lot of this, but I think it comes down mostly is because a lot of the talent isn't there anymore. Writers, etc. Hey, Bone. And I think that's the biggest obstacle to all this. I really liked Ready Player One. I really did. Because I was talking to my sister Rose about this, and my sister Rose is a huge sci-fi fan. She loves sci-fi, loves it. And we were talking about that, and I said, the man who created Oasis, Holiday, is a stand-in for George Lucas. You see the way he talks, you see his mannerisms. And he's very shy. He's not a people person. And George was never a people person. And it's very interesting to me watching that movie and realizing that when you look at like Sam Mendelsohn playing the bad guy, and you're like, oh my God, he looks just like Bob Iger. And when you see him in a flashback with coffee, he's getting coffee for Holiday and his buddy. Who does that remind you of? I think Steven Spielberg has had a hard time with Kathleen Kennedy for a long time. That movie is very subversive if you watch it the way I watched it. I watched it once, I thought, this is really interesting, and why does the bad guy remind me of at least two people? And then it dawned on me, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, I was on a live stream with Brian Lape, and we were talking about it. I hadn't seen it till then. I rented it out, and I was like, you gotta see it with your eyes open like that. Okay. It's about pop culture. It's about a corporate entity wanting to take everything over and water it down. It's about people not being free to enjoy what they love. Okay. And that's what the movie's about. And it's basically about how the internet and how virtual reality is taking over people's lives. Which is, I mean, some of the stuff is, I mean, in the beginning is hilarious. I mean, there's a guy in Korea. He loses all of his the loot that he's made, tries to jump out of the window, and this Korean girl is like, I mean, all right, I lived in Asia, so I know these people, and I started laughing. I was like, that's about as much emotion as you'll ever get at anybody in Korea. But it's just really, just a minute. He's inching his way back out. But you really got to see the movie and understand where it's coming from. Directed by Steven Spielberg. Comes out in 2016. And we all, I mean, people who are worried about Disney taking over Marvel, taking over Lucasfilm, we're right. We're right. And when you watch this movie, you're going to understand the ramifications of that happening, okay? And what it could look like. All right, but we all know what it looks like. But it's very interesting. And if you haven't seen it, see the movie, but remember what I said when you watch it. Because you're gonna go, oh. And the moment you see Mendelsohn show up, you're gonna be like, that's Bob Iger. And then when you see him in the flashback with Holiday and his buddy, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's Kathleen Kennedy. It's quite revealing. All right. So I've been on for an hour. Again, get to your Barnes and Noble, go to Amazon, go to your Target, because this is there now, and this is there now. And maybe when they're done printing out the Bane trilogy, maybe we'll get the Revan book redone. I really love that story. That's a story I would start out with, and then I would go into Bane, because Revan was a long time before Bane, and I think that would be it'd be like The Hobbit was a prequel to the Fellowship of the Rings. Anyway, I gotta go. It's been a really good, fun talk. Sorry for ranting. I'm gonna say this. I am not sorry for calling people out that need to be called out. And I won't be. There's a time there's if you have an opinion that's different and you can't deal with it, and you can't deal with the fact that other people don't agree with you, or that this is another rumor, but you got to shoot that person down for whatever reason, whatever, okay? And as far as Harrison Ford goes, it's time to stop disrespecting him, okay? Kathleen Kennedy, she can do whatever she wants, but Ford has the right of refusal on any script, all right? The man, if there's one person in Hollywood I wouldn't fuck with, it's him. You go and look at the stories behind the crazy shit that went on with the movie The Devil's Own, and how he basically crushed the people, insinuating there was other things going on that weren't. I mean, he is not a man to screw around with. All right, so the disrespect he's getting, and what do you think? Yes, Kathy. No, Kathy. I can't imagine him doing that at all. Like, no. Part of the reason why this movie didn't get made, not just because I think she was waiting for him to go away, it was because if the script wasn't what he wanted, he would say, fuck this shit. And he would say that too. All right? Doesn't care what she thinks. She is the least person to worry about. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge might have been her casting choice, but that doesn't mean Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to have anything to do with anything. All right? Other than being part of the cast. That's it. So if you honestly want to believe in your heart of hearts that this rumor is true, I can't help you. But do not personally, viciously attack people for saying it's not true. They're halfway done with the movie. Maybe Kennedy wanted it that way, but sure as fuck doesn't look like it's happening now. And instead of attacking the movie before it comes out, before you even see a trailer, why don't you give it a chance? Why don't you open up your mind a little bit and give it a chance? I know we've all been beaten down. But I'll tell you something, the people that rise up are the strong ones. Okay? All right? This is Steph.